It's Laura Evans here from Unleash Your Potential. Well, I was talking to someone today who said, Laura, I really struggle to go to sleep at night. What tips have you got for me? Now, I have historically been a great sleeper. But there was a period in my life when I really didn't sleep well. And that tended to be when I was worried, I was anxious, and things were just playing on my mind. And I got myself into a really unhelpful going to bed stroke sleep strategy. And it's really funny, isn't it? Because if you think about kids, when we put kids to bed, we know they have to have a really good sleep routine of the evening in order for them to go to bed. But yet as adults, we seem to forget that applies to us too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through 7 steps to help you get better sleep at night. Now, the first tip that I've got for you is actually exactly what I've just said, which is preparing for sleep and getting yourself into a routine. Some of us know that having caffeine late at night, eating late at night, those things just don't help us to prepare for sleep. I mean, your body, if it's high on caffeine, or if it's still processing food that you've just eaten, is potentially going to be a recipe for keeping you awake. You also should think about what activities should you refrain from or do that will help you. So I love hot chocolate. Of an evening, I just have to sit there, and I should have done it actually now. I've got a lovely mug of hot chocolate to sit and sip, and there's just something for me lovely about that. I quite like having the lights dimmed of an evening. Again, that helps me to relax. I certainly want to make sure I'm having limited screen time just before I go to bed. So the last thing you want to be doing if you're struggling with sleep, the last thing you want is lots of what they call blue light. And that's the light that's emitted from things like tablets and mobiles and things like that. So I would suggest maybe an hour or so before bed, you stop doing that in order to allow the light that is going into your system to adjust. Also have a think about what are you telling yourself during the day and in the lead up to going to bed. If you're constantly telling yourself all day, I can't go to bed, I can't sleep, I'm rubbish at sleeping, I don't sleep well, guess what? If you've followed me for a while, you know that what you focus on is what you get. And so actually changing this internal dialogue of yours will really help. So focusing during the day that I can sleep, I will sleep, and taking some of these sensible steps to get yourself ready for sleep at night work really well. So there's some of the prepared and routines that I would be thinking about if you are someone that struggles to sleep. Now, the next thing that I would do, so this would be my second tip, is know that your breath is connected to how you feel. And if you can slow your breath down, then you will start to relax. In order for you to drop off to sleep at night, you need to be mentally and physically relaxed for that to be an easy process. So learning to slow your breath down and slow your system down is really, really useful. If you've followed me before, you'll know about the tracing hand exercise, and that's the one that I would encourage you to do. Obviously, if it's safe to do so, but I'm guessing at this time of night you're probably in bed or heading that way anyway. But actually, it's really simple. So you just take your hand, spread it out like you would as a kid. Index finger at the bottom of this thumb, and just breathe in slowly as you bring your finger up and pause. And then breathe out slowly as you bring the finger down the other side and pause. And breathe in slowly as you bring your finger up and pause. And breathe out and pause. Breathing in and pause. Breathe out and pause. Breathe in and pause. Breathe out and pause. Okay, breathe in. You're getting the general gist of this now, I'm sure. Pause and breathe out. Now you can go all the way back the other way, and you can do that. And if you've just done that, I don't know about you, but we've only done one rotation from one side to the other, I already feel calmer. And so it's a technique that I use for lots of things. But if you need to just calm your system and slow your system down and ready for preparation for bed, then breathing can be really, really useful. Now, my third top tip is one that I don't personally use, but I know a lot of other people do and find really useful. And that is to grab yourself a good fiction book. Sometimes it's just wonderful to escape from real life for half an hour, even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just absorb yourself in someone else's reality. And that's what fiction books are great for. There is some research done, I can't remember the name of the university now, but essentially if you read fiction for 8 to 10 minutes or more, then your stress levels will start to decrease. So it's a really short period of time to get a great result. So if you think that would work for you, that's something else that perhaps you could think about, maybe getting yourself in your PJs and your dressing gown and sitting in the lounge or somewhere with low level lighting and do that. You'll notice I've got my candle lit this evening. I've been chilling out and I thought, I must do this live. I've been meaning to do it for a long time to help those of you that struggle to sleep, and I love having candlelight. It's just beautiful and it certainly helps me relax. My fourth top tip is to finish the day on gratitude. Again, if you followed me for a while, you'll know about the practice of gratitude. And essentially, all you need to do is sit and think about 3 things that you're really grateful for from the day. You can journal them if you like journaling, and that just essentially just means writing them down. But focusing on 4 things you're grateful for from the day. Today, I'm grateful for the break in the rain this afternoon to take Rosie out for a walk. I'm grateful for the wonderful client that I coached today. It was just amazing. And I'm grateful for my health and the roof over my head. And if you can get yourself focused on feeling grateful, then that's really, really useful. Better that you go to bed feeling grateful than you go to bed with your head spinning, right? And gratitude is a great practice at the end of the day. And sometimes I'll just do it as I'm walking up the stairs to come up to bed. And I just think, right, what am I grateful for today? And I have a little bit of a smile on my face and remind myself of 3 great things that have happened during the day, or just these 3 things I'm grateful for. My 5th tip is, if you are an overthinker, which is what I used to do a lot of, then I would thoroughly recommend that by the side of your bed at night, you have a pen and a piece of paper. Now, I have a note block. I don't have it by my bed anymore because I don't need it, but that's what I used to have. I used to just have a pencil or a pen. And if you're the type of person that overthinks, what will be happening at the moment is you'll be keeping yourself awake because your mind will be wanting to remind you. And it can be something silly like putting the bins out, or it could be something like needing to go and, cancel a direct debit, or I got to remember to ring my mum tomorrow, or whatever. And the thing is, if you go to bed overthinking, or with that little repeat button fixed on in your head, must put the bins out, must put the bins out, must put the bins out, or something like that, what will happen is, if you do go to sleep, and that will be tricky, but if you do go to sleep, you'll have really poor quality sleep, because all night your mind will be going, must put the bins out, must put the bins out, must put the bins out. And the wonderful thing about having a piece of paper and a pen by the side of the bed is just write it down on the piece of paper, and then you can relax, because do you know what, in the morning you'll just pick the bit of paper up and go, need to put the bins out. And I know it sounds really silly, but I used to have all sorts of things that used to keep me awake at night, all sorts of things. And there's something about taking it out of your head and out of your heart and putting it on a piece of paper. In NLP, we call it dissociated, but you don't need to worry about that. No, certainly not at this hour of the night anyway. But actually just getting it on a piece of paper takes the sting out of the worries. It takes the need to remind yourself of the to-do list that you've got. The overthinking. Listen, if you've not solved it by this time of night, you're not going to solve it tonight, right? So write the worry down, write the problem down, wherever it is, and think, do you know what, tomorrow when I'm feeling better and I'm feeling more energized, I'm going to have a go at it, and I'll think about it tomorrow. But for now, I give myself permission to go to sleep. So pen and a piece of paper, really good tactic if you are an overthinker, and your thinking stops you from going to sleep. So that'll be my 5th tip. My 6th tip is just to do a simple progressive muscle relaxation, as we would call it. And I'm not going to do one now because I don't know whether you're in a safe place and whether you're able to do this, but I'll talk you through what you need to do. We use it in a style of Ericksonian hypnosis, but essentially this is what you do. So what you do is you get yourself all nice and relaxed, lying nice and comfy flat in bed. and turn your lights off and as if you're going to sleep, and just focus on that relaxation that you have around your eyes when you close your eyes, and just imagine that relaxation spreading across your cheeks and into your jaw, and maybe take a few deep breaths as you focus on that relaxation. And as you focus on those muscles, some people like to tense the muscles up so they're really tight, and then breathe out and relax so they can feel the muscles relaxing. I don't necessarily do that personally, but I do focus on relaxation and noticing how my muscles are relaxing as I go through all of that. Now, if you've got access to the Sleep Easy hypnosis track that I did the other week, then there's a progressive muscle relaxation in there that will take you through the whole process, talking the relaxation from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. But something like that, focusing on relaxation, works really well. And sometimes I'll have a nice bath before I go to bed, because that always relaxes me. I always feel my body physically relax when I do that. And if that works for you, then maybe that's something to think about as well. And my final tip, my 7th top tip for helping you get better sleep, is actually to understand that the unconscious mind works in such a way that if you can take a positive learning from something that's happened during the day, those negative emotions can be released and can go. And sometimes some of the reason people don't sleep well at night is because they're mulling over an argument they had during the day, or something they did that didn't go quite right, and they're stressed, all those things. Do you know what the thing you need to do at the end of the day, when you're again nice and comfy lying flat in bed with your eyes shut, is just close your eyes and ask yourself a very simple question. What can I learn from today that will allow me to let go of all of these negative emotions, whether that be stress or frustration or irritation, whatever it is? And just see what pops up into your head. Your unconscious mind is a powerful tool, and it's always ready to serve you. So just see what pops into your head. It might be that the words "just let it go" pop into your head, and just acknowledge them and then go to sleep. It's funny how things happen during the day and you just sometimes need to just let them go, because they're not going to serve you tonight. And so taking a learning, this is something that when those of you have trained with me, we do timeline therapy. This is what we do at the end of the day, and we float up above now on our timeline and ask ourselves these questions. But if you've not done TLC, it doesn't matter. Just close your eyes and just ask yourself, what do I need to learn from today that will allow me to let go of any negative emotions easily and effortlessly? And just see what pops into your head. It might be you need to get better at delegating. It might be that you need to just not take things so personally. It might be that you just need to let it go. There could be all sorts of things, and your unconscious mind, I'm sure, will give you something. Just acknowledge it and go to sleep. So there's my 7 top tips. I hope they are of use to you. They're the things I've learned over the years when I wasn't able to sleep well. If, of course, you'd like to listen to the Sleep Easy hypnosis session, you can grab a copy for $9.99 and you can listen to me relax you for an hour, and that will certainly help you to sleep better. But anyway, listen folks, sleep well tonight. I hope you have great sleep, and I'll see you really soon. Good night.